I did 1 year of medicine. I did 1 year of architecture. I did 5 years of engineering. And after that, I decided to do computer science. So definitely my journey wasn't linear.
Why you chose your career in the data field? Was it pre-decided? Is there any story behind it? Indians have the opportunities to work UK's corporate world.
Yes, it's difficult to get to the UK and find jobs. But if you're a good candidate, you will definitely find opportunities anywhere. You should always believe that you can do anything that you want.
And at last, I would just say namaste.
Namaste.
Hello, Anas. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I am also very good. I was eagerly waiting for this podcast from yesterday, actually. I really hope that it goes well and it helps people to gain much knowledge about data science, data analysts. So, yeah. Okay. Before going into the core tech part, I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience so that they'll get familiarized with who you are, what's your education background, etc. So, let's start with that.
Yeah, of course. So first of all, thank you for having me and inviting me to your podcast. It's a huge pleasure being here and discussing
Okay.
these topics with you and sharing with your audience as well. So my name is Anas Riad. I am originally from Morocco. I currently
Okay.
live in the UK for the past 3 years, and I work as a data analyst and BI consultant for a tech company. I've been in the UK for the past 3 years, as I mentioned. I came here to study and slowly switched into data science. And at the moment, I had an opportunity to work as a data analyst, which I took, and I'm pretty happy about overall.
Okay. So, you have a good career, I guess. Like, you can see that you have a good home and you have a YouTube channel as well. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I started YouTube just a little bit over a year ago. I'm someone that uses YouTube a lot, to learn, to
Okay.
entertain myself. And I always wanted to start a channel, but I thought maybe I wasn't good enough, to present myself in front of the camera. I had all these limitations in my head. I thought it would be
Okay.
difficult. And
Okay.
English is not my first language.
Okay.
So
Oh yes. I just saw your resume and you know so many languages: French, Russian, Arabic, and English as
yeah.
well. So like how did you learn all these?
Yeah, so my father is Moroccan, so I speak Arabic from him. My mother
Okay.
is Russian, so I speak Russian from her. And French and English, I learned them over time. In Morocco, a lot of people speak French as well. And English, I had to learn it in 2021 before coming to the UK. So English is the last language that I learned. And therefore,
Okay.
it was difficult for me to start a YouTube channel because I thought maybe I'm not yet good enough to explain things in English.
Okay.
But I managed to push through the fear,
No, I can
the
see that you
initial
are very
fear.
good in English right now, and I'm really thankful.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't have learned English, how could have we could have done this podcast? So I'm really
That's
thankful.
true. That's true. That's so true. Yeah.
So, do you think learning all those languages have ever helped you in corporate world?
Depends where you work in. I mean, so far, to be honest, most of my work has been in English.
Okay.
Sometimes I encountered people reaching out to me for some projects in French. But usually it's good to have, but it's not essential, So a lot of
Okay.
people, they tell me you have an advantage, you speak Russian, Arabic. It's not true. It's only essential if I work for a corporate that is multinational, where they need to expand into the Arab world or to Russian countries. But usually English, you're already good enough with English by itself.
Okay, got your point. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So, can you explain me why you chose your career in the data field? Was it pre-decided, or is there any story behind it?
Yeah, so it wasn't pre-decided. Nothing is
Okay.
ever pre-decided in life, before I tried a few things. I did 1 year of medicine. I did 1 year of
Oh,
architecture. I did 5 years of engineering studying. And after
okay.
that, I decided to do computer science. So definitely my journey wasn't linear. And I know a lot of people that I speak to or that come to me on LinkedIn and they say, hey, I've been an economist. Can I become a data scientist? And I say you can be whatever you want and become whatever you want, as long as you put in the effort into becoming
Yeah,
that person.
right.
So getting into data science was a little bit of luck. I wanted to be an engineer. But when I worked in the engineer world, I didn't enjoy it much. And I was always good with mathematics, with numbers, with logic. So when I decided to do a degree in computer science in the UK, I had this module of data science. And as soon as I
Okay.
started it, I'm like, oh, I do understand this. I do like the logic behind it. And I started to dig deeper into it. And that's how the journey of data science started, basically.
So you are happy right now with what you are doing?
Yes, very. I mean, it's sometimes it's very challenging because it's a domain where there are always new things coming,
Coming,
and you don't
right.
know if you're good enough. Tomorrow you're not good enough. Today we have to use some specific tools. Tomorrow there are AI agents, there are LLMs. There are so many things that come out, and
Absolutely
you
right.
think, yeah, you think, am I still good enough or not? You start to doubt yourself. So it's one of those fields that, especially recently, evolved so much that you always need to keep up to date, and I enjoy
Yeah,
that. I
right.
like to be someone who moves, but for those that are afraid of uncertainty, I would say it's best to not work in data science because it's very uncertain sometimes.
Yeah, right. I talk a lot with the professionals like you. They also say me the same thing that corporate or the IT world is very dynamic and you constantly need to upgrade yourself. The time
Yeah,
you stop learning is the time your growth stops.
yeah,
So yeah, it's you're not the first person to tell me this.
yeah. I know.
Okay. So the next question from my side will be: you have two master's degree, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
I did a master's in engineering. As I said, 5 years I studied. I did industrial engineering. And when I came to the UK, I did the second master's in computer science. This one was just 1 year, second master's. Yeah, so two
okay.
different fields. I managed to take on a lot of knowledge from engineering into computer science in terms of coding, in terms of mathematics, in terms of statistics and logic in general. So a lot of engineers that are watching this podcast, there are a lot of transferable
Definitely.
skills that you can take from engineering into computer science in general, whether it's data or cybersecurity or any field in the broader spectrum. Don't think that engineering is very different because you can take a few things and use them in data science as well.
Yeah, actually, in India, we actually believe that engineers are taught to be strong humans. If you have to explain yourself to a 10 years old kid, that what is the difference between DS or DA, like data science and data analyst, how would you explain your work profile to them?
Yeah, so data analysis and data science, they are different things in the same spectrum. You know, we're still in the same world. We talk about data and it's
Hmm.
information that we use to try and make informed decisions. If I had to explain it to a kid, I would just say that we try and find ways to improve businesses with the information that we have. But if I have to dig a little bit into it, data analysts, they work at the forefront of the project. So they have a data that is already usable and they try to measure some KPIs and report it to stakeholders. So data analysts, like myself at the moment, we work directly with clients, with stakeholders, with managers. So our work, you can see the impact directly because you're
Okay.
part of the front team. Whilst the data scientists, they are a little bit on the background. You know, they're building those complex models. They're trying to improve the product. They try to make predictions. They use more statistical analysis, a little bit more advanced. So I would say they're part of a chain, you know, where data scientists, they help with building the products and data analysts are part of showing the impact of that product to the client and to the stakeholder.
Okay. Related to the same question, how important do you think data scientists and data analysts are for the business growth?
Have with business
Growth.
growth, a massive. All businesses nowadays they use data. You cannot
Yeah,
have a
right.
business without having data to use. Otherwise, you're missing a lot of money. Data scientists, you will find in most companies there are data analysts and not necessarily data scientists. So it
Data
depends
scientist,
on the
right.
complexity of the product. Sometimes you don't have to necessarily make some complex machine learning models and deploy them to the cloud and do some sort of sophisticated programming. And in that case, you might only need data analysts, you know, because
Yeah.
you have a lot of data, you want to analyze it, you want to measure some KPIs and just try and make informed decisions. So, but I believe the more you lean into technical companies, you know, and the more there is a need for data scientists.
Okay, so we can conclude that the need of or the employment culture of the data scientist and data analyst will grow in future as all the businesses are working on data only. So can we conclude this from your statement?
Yes, yes, definitely. I would say the demand will grow, but the thing that is a little bit tricky nowadays is that most of the tools are becoming very powerful. So what
Okay.
used to take 3 4 people to work on it, maybe nowadays you only need one person that can know how to use powerful tools to do the job. So the demand will increase, but the tools are also getting very powerful. So I don't know. When you see, because I looked at the trends and they are increasing over
Yeah,
time, which is
right.
great. But we also see that some tools are becoming so powerful as well. Maybe in a few years, there will be tools that do the business intelligence and reporting with just one click, and you won't have to go and learn Power BI, for example.
So
But
so
that we
you
don't
are
know.
so you are
You
saying
know.
that there's a threat for our jobs in future if the AI takes control?
I mean, we'll have to adapt. And I have a few people that reached out to me on LinkedIn and asked about, is data analyst job still safe? I say it, and I think that data analysts will have to evolve into data scientists and machine learning engineers as well.
Yeah,
So
right.
you will keep your skill set, but you'll have to expand a little bit so that you will never, be affected by the evolution of AI, so that it doesn't take on your job.
Ah, okay, right. Yeah, you explained it very well, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay. So, my next question, of course, you have worked as a freelancer as well. Yeah. So, how was that journey?
So I started working as a freelancer when I was in university, and that's
Mm-hmm.
something I recommend to the students that come to me on LinkedIn and YouTube and ask me how can I gain experience when I'm still studying. And I always say do freelancing. There are platforms such as Upwork where I did freelancing myself, and I still do, where you can go and find some projects. Obviously, at the beginning, you might find some very small projects, some projects that don't pay well, but you're looking for experience. That
Right.
it's just a starting point. Because, going on the internet and watching some tutorials and doing the same projects as everyone else, it doesn't help you stand out. And I remember
Right.
when I started freelancing, at the beginning, it was slow. I didn't gain much projects because I didn't have experience. But then when I started to apply for jobs, I could tell them that I wasn't just a student. I was a student that had 6 months of experience working on 5 real world projects. It sounds better. You know how to sell yourself when
Yeah.
you do some freelancing, especially when you're in university or still studying.
Of course, your hands-on experience always help to present yourself
Of course.
better. And if they are having 5 or 6 resumes, your resume will stand out because of your experience and the skills which you have worked on. Of course. So, what is the current project you are working on? Like, what are the current tools you are using?
Yeah, so at the moment, I work for a tech company and we specialize in advertisement to
Okay.
help other corporates recruit talents all over the
Okay.
world. But we
Mhm.
mostly specialize in Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, Denmark.
Mhm.
And my role is to try to showcase that our tool is performing well. So I receive data from my team, which is already, I would say, pre-cleaned. There's always some cleaning to do. It's in form of CSVs or Excel files. So I receive a lot of them for different things. And
Okay.
my team explains to me what they want me to look for. So basically the KPIs or the key performance indicators
Mhm.
that they want me to look into. And then when we agree on them, I take that, I usually use Python and to analyze the data. So Python with libraries like pandas, NumPy,
Numpy.
Plotly to visualize. And then basically I just dig into the data, clean it, analyze it, and report it back to my team, which they have direct contact with the client. So my workflow
Okay.
now is a lot of Excel, a lot of Python, and I report in PowerPoint in the current job.
Okay. So, just a fun question: have you ever have to explain yourself or explain those charts and graphs to some non-tech guy? Like, clients are mostly non-tech. They are not from tech background. So have
Yeah.
you faced the difficulty over there explaining the tech things to a non-tech guy? Just a fun question.
Yes, it's a very important question because um the way you explain things to different people is not the same, and that's something when I started I didn't understand. It seems like it's common sense, but when you're just starting out, you want to show all the graphs, you want to show the code, you want to show that you've
Yeah,
put the
right.
effort. And I had this experience in one of my projects working directly with the CEO, and I made like a huge report of 25 pages with all the graphs, and he looked at it and he said, "This is good, but you could have done it in 2 pages maximum." And he made me think. I was like, "It's true. A CEO doesn't want to read 25 pages. He wants
Of
just the
course.
results." Whilst a technical person, maybe they want a little bit more. Your manager maybe wants more comments in the project. So it taught me how important it is to speak a different language to different people, because some want to hear one part, some want more detail, some want just what's the result. Tell me what's
Right,
the
of
growth,
course.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. Just like Anas, you said that you work on clean data. Okay. So, have you ever worked on the unstructured data or unclean data? Look, I'm asking this from the perspective of a fresher who has just entered into the world of data. For
Yeah.
example, let's take data analyst. So he's confused what kind of roles and responsibilities of what kind of projects he might get in the future. So, what kind of
Yes.
difficulties you face when you work with the unstructured data or unclean data, and
Yeah.
what kind of process is like you might have taken out some trick or something that is easy to clean that data. So, can you explain it in short for a fresher?
Yes, of course. So you need to expect as data analysts and data scientists to work with unstructured data many times. In my current situation, because the data comes from a platform that we have that we already invested in that gives us the data in a clean manner, it makes it
Hmm.
easy to just go and start doing some analysis.
Of course.
However, in many cases, when you fetch the data from APIs or from different sources, you bring it in different formats, and you end up having some data in JSON format, some data in Excel, some data coming from directly from a website. And when you bring them all together, they don't make any sense. So
Yeah,
it's
right.
there is always a process to clean the data, that you always agree with your team what format is best to use for everyone, because there's not just yourself, there are other people that work in the same chain as you are. So
Right.
if the goal is to bring all the data and make it tabular formats, meaning like Excel or CSV, then there is
Hmm.
a process to turn each and every data that you bring into tabular formats, and you structure it basically by yourself. I worked before for a company where we used to get data from different sources, and
Okay.
it was a little bit of a pain sometimes to go through and clean it up, and people
Hmm.
don't notice. They just think, oh, he makes nice dashboards, but they didn't see me 12 hours of cleaning the data, and
Exactly
bringing
my
everything
point.
together. So yeah, so for those that haven't yet started on this journey, just know that you'll be cleaning a lot of the data, making sure that your data is usable, it's good quality,
Yes.
because even if you create the most beautiful visuals, if the data is not accurate, they're worth nothing. So that's
Yeah,
something
right.
to be careful about.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I got your point. Okay, the next question will be: I saw your resume, and there was a term called as Microsoft Fabric, MS
Yeah,
Fabric. Uh,
yeah,
Honestly, I am from non-tech background, and I don't have much knowledge about the technical things. I got
yes,
all my knowledge from my CEO Ankush Thavli, who is actually the founder of Learnomate, and from
yeah.
the professionals like you, uh, which I talk a lot. So basically, I couldn't understand this MS Fabric because I haven't read much about it. So please explain me and
Yeah.
to my audience that what it is and what is its real world use case.
Yeah, so Microsoft Fabric is basically a SaaS solution from Microsoft, as the name suggests. And what
Okay.
they did, it's a new tool. Basically, that's why a lot of people still don't know it yet. It's been out for 2 years now, so it's quite fairly new. And what they
Mm-hmm.
did is that there are some very useful cloud services in Microsoft, like Data Factory, like Synapse, those that usually data engineers, data scientists use.
Right,
But
right.
they took them all and they put them into one product. So inside of Microsoft Fabric, you
Okay.
have Synapse, you have Factory, you have Power BI, and a few other tools. So instead of going in the cloud and taking each one individually, you have them all regrouped into one tech stack. So the
Okay.
way Microsoft defines Fabric, they call it an all-in-one SaaS analytical tool. I still remember this because I did a lot of research and I was the one who convinced my team to use it at the time, I remember.
Yeah, actually, it's quite new. I haven't heard it from any of the professionals. Like I already told, I have talked to many data scientists, data analysts.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever taken out this MS Fabric term. So I was a little confused, and I thought instead of googling it, I will talk to you about this.
Yes.
So yeah, so it is an end-to-end solution for your deals. Instead of taking a single like practices, you can just go to it and you can use it from end to end solutions, right?
Yes, it's like a product by itself that already has most of the services you need. So instead of
Okay.
calling them and making all those connections manually, it's all in there. If you have, for example, data that you brought in with a pipeline with Data Factory, and you already have a SQL database in Fabric, then you can directly query in Power BI directly within the same system,
Okay.
which makes it super easy to work. It's easy to add collaborators. It's easy to add viewers, external people to look at dashboards. They really created something that I believe is really good.
Yeah, I can sense that. It is offering multiple opportunities at the same platform. That is a big deal, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question, of course, as we talked earlier, the data science world is highly dynamic. How do you keep yourself updated with the trends? How do you learn? And what's your secret?
I have a few things. So I'm very active on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a few people that are amazing in AI, in data, in technology in general. So just by reading their content every day, I already know what's going on. I have some people on LinkedIn, they talk about AI agents. Others talk about new libraries. Others talk about the trends. Others talk about robotics. So it helps me always see what's going on, and I stay up to date like this. Also, I follow a few YouTube pages, so I see a few videos popping up on my feed. And I made this one a few weeks ago or months ago. There's ChatGPT tasks. It's like they added a new model, ChatGPT task, and you can
Okay.
go and prompt it to send you every day at a certain time all the news about AI directly on your
Oh.
inbox.
Oh, really? I haven't
Yes.
used it. I'll try, of course.
Yes.
It sounds interesting.
It is. I made a video on it a few months ago, I think. And since then, every evening, I receive an email from OpenAI. They tell me, here are the 5
You
news
have
of the
this
day.
video on your YouTube channel?
Yes, I have it. How to do it
I will
yourself.
surely watch it. I'll surely watch it.
Yes.
Okay. So, as I saw your resume, I also saw that you have worked on PostreSQL database.
Yes.
In India, Postgres actually has started to grow, but not as
Yeah.
much as it is expected to. Because many, like, it's not very known to people. So they're confused whether to learn it and, like, is there any job opportunity in future regarding it. So I would like you to enlighten people regarding that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, uh, what kind of companies are using this kind of database because it's open
Yeah.
source. So who are its prime users, and learning it can provide a good job opportunity or not. So yeah.
Yeah, so PostgreSQL, it's been very in demand recently. I recently checked, there was a statistic that it was like the number 3 SQL language the most used in the world at the moment.
Oh.
So there is MySQL, there was another one, then PostgreSQL. So it just shows how important it became now in the job market. And honestly, if you already know how to use MySQL, then you can switch to PostgreSQL
Very
fairly
easily.
easily. You know, it's nearly the same logic. The syntax is a little bit different sometimes, so you can easily make the switch. So if you apply for a job and you see PostgreSQL and you know how to do MySQL, just say that you can, because it will take you literally a few days to make the logic and the shift. It's nothing crazy, because you already have the
Okay.
logic of how databases work, how you can query the data, how you can do all the merges and everything. So it shouldn't be something that scares you, because you already have the skill, and the demand is high. A lot of jobs I see here in the UK, they ask for PostgreSQL specifically, so there is
Okay.
demand for it for sure. Yes.
Okay. Again, to the general part. After the tech part, I go to the general stuff because it's like, let's move to some general part. Yeah. So, how's your work? Like, you work in UK. How's the corporate culture over there? Is it hectic, relaxed?
In the UK, I would say it depends to what you compare it to. I know in India and Asia in general, people are hard workers.
Oh no, people are hard workers everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few that are really good, and in the UK, they're more relaxed. I would say overall, they
Okay.
prioritize mental health. They don't do over hours. If you work from 9 to 5, at 5 everyone is leaving, no one is staying in the office. So
Oh,
they do. So in this sense, they're quite relaxed. But in terms of work, it's quite demanding as well. So they do prioritize your health, your holidays. You don't have to hide from the fact that you're taking a few days off or you need something like that. There are some cultures where you find excuses to take some time off, like you're not allowed to. In the UK,
okay.
no, it's a top priority, to take time off, to take time for yourself, but you have to deliver in your work as well. So it's in between.
Okay. So, do you think Indians have the opportunities to work in UK's corporate world?
Um, I mean, since I came to the UK, things have been changing a little bit. Uh, it became more difficult to get a visa. There are some conditions as well in terms of how much salary you need to earn the minimum, which
Yeah,
increased
right.
as well. I feel like they're making it more difficult for immigrants to come from
Hmm.
different countries, whether it's India or Morocco, like myself. It just feels like it's a lot more pressure than it used to be and less certainty. So I won't lie and say it's easy, because it's clearly not.
Mm-hmm.
But being in the UK gives you a little bit of an edge in your field. When you say that you're a data scientist with experience in the UK, it opens up more opportunities for you. And
Of
that's just
course.
reality. That's nothing against India or Morocco or anything. It's
Of
just
course.
that's how it is. So yes, it's difficult to get to the UK and find jobs, but if you're a good candidate, you will
Why
definitely
not?
find opportunities anywhere. So I wouldn't say that these days it's easy, but for some
Mm-hmm.
people they make amazing things in the UK as well.
Very good answer, Anas, I would say.
Mhm.
Okay. So, like, we are in the concluding part. In the last, I would just appreciate your words on a roadmap for the freshers, of course,
Yeah.
who want to enter into the world of data but are confused from where should they start and what is the right path to learn. So I would just appreciate your words on that, and I want you to start from the beginning, like step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you can give some pointers or some tips regarding the interview as well. Like,
Hmm.
these are the pointers you can use in the interview, because I'm sure you have given so many interviews. Your
Yeah.
experience can really help someone. So yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of a roadmap, it really depends what's your level. But if you're a complete beginner and you want to start out, you need to know that there are some fundamentals that you need to take care of. I have some people that come to me on YouTube and they say, I want to become a data analyst, but I don't want to code. And I'm like, you can't become a football player without buying a ball in the first place. You need the tool, you need something, to do your work.
Yeah,
And
right.
if even though you can still use Excel to do a lot of things and PowerPoint to do a lot of visuals, but coding is just parts of it. So that's something that you need to accept. And coding is not that difficult, especially with the tools that we have nowadays. They can help us do things well.
Coding as in a difficult level of coding, or like, which mostly you people in the data field prefer Python, right? And I guess
Yeah.
Python is easy to learn, and is it sufficient?
To learn from scratch, it takes a little bit of time and it needs some patience. A lot of people, they try to rush and they think if they watch one tutorial of 5 hours, they'll become great at Python. We've all been there. It's not the case. But yeah, I would say focus on one tool. Like Python, one programming language, I mean, is great.
Okay.
Is the one that is most widely used in the whole world. So you'd rather use something that is needed. There is a colleague of mine that uses R, the programming language R, and
Okay.
it's great. You can do that, but go where the demand is. If you're gonna start today from scratch, go for Python because you have more chances of landing a job with Python than with
Right.
R. And if I had to give like a basic roadmap, because a lot of people focus on Python, but they neglect a few other things that are very important to start in data science.
Yeah,
So
right.
let's say first one is to learn Python and a few libraries that are useful, like pandas for cleaning, exploration, analysis, NumPy for everything numerical, SciPy for statistics, Plotly for visuals. Like these are the basic ones that you need to go and practice a bit. Then you can also look into Git. Git is very important for you to learn how to collaborate with others, how to save your work, and how to push your projects into GitHub as well. It's not very difficult, but that's something anyone that will work in a team needs to know. So it's always good to put it in your roadmap.
Yeah,
Then I would say understand how to use your machine. It means how to use your terminal, how to use the Unix commands. There are some very basic commands that help you, because when you start a project in Python, you will always set up a new environment, and a lot of people struggle with it because they didn't even try to learn it. When you watch tutorials, they directly tell you, okay, let's jump on the code, but they don't tell you how to set up your environment, which is very important.
Right.
Another one is SQL. SQL is very much used in the data world, whether people like it or not. It's very much used. I don't use it in my current job, but in my previous job, I was only using SQL. Most of my work was in SQL. So it's good to have it, under the belt. Learn SQL. Whether it's MySQL, PostgreSQL, you will end up adapting. But learn one, stick to one. No need to jump to many. And last one, and this one is a little bit, no one likes it, but it's statistics and mathematics. As a data scientist, you need just those basics of linear algebra, regression, these things. Just go study them, because in the end, you want to understand what's going on in your work. You don't want to just copy and paste the code from ChatGPT and say that you're a data scientist. You need to understand what's going on, So this is my basic roadmap, basically.
Okay. The first thing, what should one start from? Python or SQL sounds easy to start. So are they the first step?
Yeah, one of them, I would say, let's say we have 5 big categories. Let's say Python, Git, virtual environment, SQL, and what was this one? Math and statistics.
Math, yeah.
Pick up math, statistics, and SQL. Start with these 2, and spend a few weeks on them. And when you feel comfortable, jump into Python and virtual environment. Then add a little bit of Git. Just don't work on all of them at once, because it's too much,
And from where these stuff can be learned, are the free sources available on internet are enough to get enough knowledge? Are they sufficient? I'm asking.
Yes. I mean, we have lots of courses online. Some of them are amazing. Some of them are less. So you need to go and look a little bit everywhere. I paid for lots of courses, and I took lots of courses for free on YouTube. And the best thing is always to practice. So if you can find any projects where you can do the work yourself, that's the best way to learn. Let's say you want to learn Python. You go and you watch a few tutorials and you learn a few basics. And then you should go find the data set on the internet and practice. And don't necessarily follow someone else's tutorial. Like literally go and pick something that you like. For example, I like football. I will go find the data set on football and analyze it myself. And this way, I'm going to learn a lot more than just watching a tutorial, because we've all tried, watching tutorials is not enough. It's good for general knowledge, but to apply, you need to do projects.
Yeah, it's always good to have hands-on.
Of course.
That's what a problem is, because we are also a training institute, right? We have lots of people who come to us and they are very confused regarding, mostly from the non-tech background. They want to enter into the tech world, but yeah, they are confused from where they should start. And those graduates, they land from college, but they are very stuck. So our courses basically help them to like proceed in their career. But yeah, when we say that you have to do hands on everything, that you won't get a job that easily and it take time, they don't understand that point. They're like,
Mm,
we want job now and do anything what you can, but we want job now. So yeah,
yeah.
they must understand this point, which you explained very well, that it's important to have that hands on experience. And the thing you mentioned about the freelancing part, it's good to have that kind of work done when you present yourself in front of the companies. Okay, I also want your insights over the interview part a little bit. I know it's getting late, but just two lines about the interview.
Yeah, so the best way to be prepared for interviews is to have some projects that you can discuss. And that's the whole point of doing hands-on, because
Ah,
on an
okay.
interview, they'll tell you, tell me what you did in a specific thing. And if you've never done it before, it'll be very difficult to talk about it. So if you
Right.
don't have any internships or any experience, you should have some projects. You should on
Mm-hmm.
GitHub or somewhere, and you can discuss those projects. How did you take a specific data set and you analyzed it? And what's the impact of the work that you've done? That's what they want to see, especially
Okay,
if it's an
right.
entry level job. You need to showcase something. Otherwise, it's very difficult to talk about experience if you don't have any. So, the best way
Mm-hmm.
to prepare for interviews, a lot of people will say do some lead code challenges and things like this, which is great when you practice, obviously, and it shows how you think when you code. But the best thing is to explain some projects they worked on, because employers want to see impact. They don't want just to see if you're good technically. Good
Yeah,
technically is
right.
good, but showing impact is great. And you want to be great, not just good.
Yeah. Oh, good line. Okay, at last, Anas, I would just expect you to just give a small message for our audience, like about your experience or for their betterment. Any small message.
Yeah, I would just say that you should always believe that you can do anything that you want. You shouldn't compare yourself to others. It's bad for you mental health and for your motivation to compare yourself to people ahead of you in their journey. It's always good and healthy to compare yourself to your past self and try to improve. And whether you are already in data or not, if you follow a good structure and you have a good plan and you take on daily action, there's nothing that you can't achieve. Just two
Yeah,
years
right.
ago, I didn't think that I will be able to do what I do today. And today I'm able to do it. And maybe in 2 years, I'll be able to do even more than I'm doing today. It's like a journey. And whatever you are right now, just know that it's not permanent. As long as you're willing to put in the effort, you're willing to showcase yourself, you're willing to open up more to the world. A lot of people come to me and they're like, I want to start LinkedIn or YouTube, but I'm scared. I don't know what to say. I'm like, we've all been there.
Yeah,
And
right.
the good thing is that even if you share something today, no one really cares because they don't know you. So it's a good thing. You can just write, experiment until you start to understand what works and what doesn't. So yes, one advice from a lot of people that ask me is have some sort of personal brand on the internet. Showcase yourself. I always say to some friends that contact me, and I say, imagine I have a role for data analyst and there are 10 people that apply for it. And only two of them are super active on LinkedIn or YouTube, where they have some sort of presence online. Who am I
Mm-hmm.
going to contact first? Is it those people or the other ones where they don't even have a picture on LinkedIn?
Yeah, of
you
course.
know even though I don't want to be biased, but it's just the way it is. They showed upfront the value that they're bringing. So try to be one of those. Try to showcase your skills, try to be vocal, so that you can get more opportunities, hopefully, for
Opportunities.
jobs.
Very well said. Very well said. I really enjoy talking to you,
Thanks.
Anas. You're
Me too.
Yeah, you're actually a proper techie, I would say. Your your knowledge about the tech world, and in general your knowledge about the life as well, is very deep, and you're very insightful about
Thank you.
things. not just like person who takes things seriously. I really enjoyed, and I'm really hoping that my audience also enjoyed a lot, and they
Yes,
learned a
me
lot
too.
from this podcast. So thank you very much again from Learnomate Technologies and from me as well, because I
Thank you
personally
for having
enjoyed.
me.
Yeah, so thank you very much again, and have a very good day. And at last, I would just say namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having me in here, and I hope the audience enjoyed it.
Okay, I'm hoping the same. Okay, thank you very much. Good
Okay.
day.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.